What's up? It's your girl Serena Marie, and today we're discussing the latest in horror noir or black horror with Amazon Prime's new film, Master. This sounds like a commercial. It's not. Not sponsored. Wish it was by Amazon. No, I don't. So Monster was written and directed by Mariama, I believe is her name, or Mariam Diallo, and it is starring Regina Hall. I wanted to say Regina King. Regina Hall and Zoe, a newcomer in the business, Zoe Renee. Let's start with the blurb. So 3 women strive to find their place at an elite Northeastern university as old as the country. When anonymous racist attacks target a black freshman who insists she is being haunted by ghosts of the school's past, each woman must determine where the real menace lies. So here we have another movie about the horror of racism, like Get Out, which followed a lot. This is actually really interesting. I want to do like a ranking of black horror noir films. A lot of people think that Get Out is when the whole like race in black horror started. But if we think about Candyman, like the start of Candyman was because he was killed, spoiler, he was killed by a white man because he liked her daughter, I think, if I'm getting that correctly. So there was racism involved in Candyman becoming Candyman. If you haven't seen either of them, there was a new one released in 2021 and then one from back in the day. I'll do another video on that. I think I should. Anyway. I'm getting wrapped up in everything. There's also, Amazon Prime also released a history of horror noir. So I want to watch that as well. I'll probably watch that tonight. But what was my point? There's just been a lot of horror noir recently about race. Some of it is very well done, like Get Out, and some of it is not so well done. Karen. So is Master well done or not? You will find out. So in the film, I'm actually surprised that the description was talking about 3 women because Zoe, who plays Jasmine, Regina plays Gail. In the movie, they are the main characters. The third person they're referring to is, we're gonna get into it. But the third person they are referring to is Liv Beckman in the movie, who is played by Amber Gray. And I thought she was just like a partial plot line. She plays a professor and she's in it a bit, but she's just like Gail's best friend. So we'll get into that more later. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Regina Hall, and I love seeing her in more serious roles. I don't think she's done horror before. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I was very excited. And honestly, the last 10 minutes were the best part of the movie. So before we get into that, so the movie starts and it's move-in day on campus. Jasmine arrives and finds out that she is assigned to the room for her housing assignment for her freshman year. Nobody tells her what the room is. All these white kids are just in her face laughing. She's like, okay. The same day, Gail is moving into her new residence as well. She's like locked out. She calls them and then it mysteriously opens. So we know that they're a ghost. There's muddy footprints that don't belong to her. So there's a lot happening, even the first day of being on campus. Later on that day, we find out that Gail is the housemaster, which I think is like a glorified RA, but also is giving racism. She's the first black housemaster, which like the kids run around campus being like, Master Bishop, Master Bishop. And her name is Gail Bishop. And it's just, imagine having to say that to a white man. Anyway. She's the first black housemaster, and so she's giving their little orientation speech, and she tells them the legend of Margaret Millet, who was an accused witch who was killed back in the day. I don't know what time period this was, but you know, what's the term for when they were doing witch stuff? Salem witchcraft type things. There's a word for it, and I'm gonna remember when I'm editing this, so I'm gonna put it here. So Margaret Millet was accused of being a witch, and they killed her not too far from the campus. And there's like portraits of her in the campus. I'm assuming she was a student. I have no idea. No idea. So both Jasmine and Gail have very strange interactions with the white people at this school. Gail experiences quite a few microaggressions from the other faculty. She is one of 2 Black professors at the university, and so there's just a lot of microaggressions from them. Of course, Jasmine is also experiencing microaggressions from the white people at her school, the other students. At one point, she walks into her dorm and sees that her roommate had like 7 people over, 3 of which were laying on her bed. And then they have the nerve to ask her who she was. And she was like, yes. And they're like, Beyonce, Venus, or Serena. It was a mess. While she's in that group situation, one of the students goes on to tell her the story of this room that she has been assigned to. So apparently every year the witch comes back and takes a freshman with her back to hell. So somebody's dying. There's only 2 people living in this room. We know who it's gonna be. We already know. In another scene with this group of white kids and her roommate, Jasmine shares the last time, I think they were playing Never Have I Ever. And it was like, never have I ever peed my pants. And Jasmine shared that she had, and the story behind it, I think this is hilarious. She was like, I was woken up at my friend's house by her mom, and I was sitting on top of an open dryer, peeing not only my pants, but everybody else's. Ha 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 ha, very funny. But I have never seen a dryer that opens from the top. If you have, let me know in the comments. I myself don't know any top-loading dryers. That's just not a thing in my part of America, so the writing is a little... My camera died, but we're back. So while Jasmine was in her dorms experiencing all these microaggressions, Gail was at a faculty party also experiencing microaggressions. After the party, she goes to her friend and colleague Liv, who is another Black professor. I can't. So after the party, Gail goes to Liz, her friend and colleague, and also another Black professor on campus, to express her feelings about being there. And Liz was like, us sisters are like endangered species on this campus. And I was like, who would say that? So Liv was in another scene with Jasmine, because she is Jasmine's professor. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, is this supposed to be Rachel Dolezal? Is this supposed to be Rachel Dolezal? And I was like, this must be a parody, right? This isn't supposed to be a real movie, is it? It was. It was real. So ridiculous. The next day, Gail is awkwardly sitting on her desk instead of at her desk in a chair, and Jasmine is at the library getting her backpack searched by the librarian because the metal detector went off, even though she had just checked out books, and the metal detector is like 2 feet away, and you saw that her backpack was empty, but now you're like, you must have stolen. The switch up was ridiculous. That pissed me off. So throughout the film, there are these scenes with the witch kind of trying to get to Jasmine, and it seems like dream sequences. So it's like she's asleep, but she's awake, and I think they're really well done. I will say the like special effects, the CGI, like getting the hand of the witch and the foot of the witch in the way it was done, chef's kiss. It was incredible. I was a little scared. There weren't any scenes that like made me jump. It felt like some scenes were meant to, but it just didn't. But overall, it was very well produced. So I don't want to give away too much of the ending, but one point I will make is that that professor is basically Rachel Dolezal. So Regina Hall's character keeps getting phone calls to her house, and it's like this, she thinks it's a parent, and she's like, you need to call the registrar's office if this is about a student. So finally the woman is like, no, just meet me, come meet me. She meets her, and it's Liv's mom, who like lives in the woods near campus, is part of this old community that was part of the witches' old community. Anyway, it went back generations, I guess. I don't really know all of the context, but Liv, the professor, was a part of this community, and her mom was like, yo, here's a picture of her when she was a child. This little white girl is my daughter, and also this woman who the news is reporting as the new professor, that's a Black woman and going by Liv. And Regina was livid. She was like, how dare you? So she goes to this party to confront her, and and Liv was like, how dare you try to tell me what I am and what I'm not? Oh my God, it was hilarious. It was so funny. The last 10 minutes of the movie was honestly the best part. Like, we really got to see Regina like act. Like, I don't feel like she was doing very much throughout the movie, but at the end, when she was confronting all the staff and realizing what was happening, she did it. She did her thing. So in the movie, because it's about race, there are some typical race-related symbolisms in the movie. So there are burning crosses, there are nooses hung on doors, all that stuff. And nobody knows who did it, but it was probably everyone. I really appreciated the lighting, kind of. So there were scenes when the lights would be off and it was like this very red hue. And I just really visually, I really liked it. Something I didn't like was that it would shift from night to day really quickly. Like, it's like nighttime, she's having this nightmare and she wakes up and it's bright as hell outside. It's like the middle of the day. Like, was she taking a nap having this nightmare? There's another scene where it's nighttime and the smoke alarm starts going off, the lights shut off, smoke alarm goes off, and she's like trying to get out of this building, and that's when she comes across the cross burning. And then in the next scene, it's like morning and the fire department is just now removing the cross from the scene. And I thought that was really strange that it would take them 5 hours to put out this fire and remove it. Like, it was just very strange to me. So that kind of that transition didn't really line up for me personally, but maybe there was a purpose, who knows. One last thing about the movie that I didn't really care for too much, I felt like scenes just kept happening. Like, we're in this scene for one moment for them to have a 2-second conversation, and then it's like, okay, go to the next scene, and then it's like, okay, go to the next scene, and then okay, go to the next scene, and it's like, can we slow down? Can we get some mood happen? Can you set the mood for us? Can you tell me where we are? What are we doing here? Everything just kept happening so quickly, and I felt like it could have slowed down and told more of a story, but overall it was well written. I don't want to spoil the ending too much in case you all want to actually watch it. Would I watch it again? No. But I'll probably talk about it again in the ranking Black noir films, or black horror noir. Black. Anyway, I'll probably be talking about this movie a little more in my video about ranking horror noir films. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.